And welcome back, and we are now at part 7 of this week's New Comics Bitches. And this is where we get into the really heavy shit, because these are the two books of the week. And if you know what came out this week, and you know what I read, you're probably going to know before I even start to talk about them, but here they are. Detective Comics 880. If that isn't one of the creepiest fucking covers you've ever seen in your life, I don't know what. Because this is awesome. Basically, we've got an overlap of the two stories that, the two kind of storylines that we've been seeing recently in Detective. That Snyder, and now this issue illustrated by Jock, not Mr. Francavilla, but Jock. And Jock does a great job too. I just prefer Francavilla's stuff. And basically what's going on is that, from the last issue, we know the Joker has escaped again. He's escaped Arkham. And Jim Gordon, he's not happy about it because he seems to be pretty confident about where and what is on the Joker's menu for when he gets out. He likes to come after members of Gordon's family. At least that's what he feels. He says, in this issue, he's talking about Gotham itself. Jim is, and that the architect, the darkest and most brilliant architect of Gotham is the Joker, because of how the darkest parts of the city seem even darker. And he's trying to warn ex-wife. Again, I'm not too sure what's been going on with Jim and Barbara since Sarah Essen died back in No Man's Land when she was killed by the Joker. And Barbara is attacked, and her face is slit in that horrifying grin. She's bound naked, or she's found naked, I should say. Whether or not the Joker did that, it's not easy to tell. And Barbara Jr., I guess, Babs, is there, and this time it's intensely personal for her, because now, obviously she was, what happened to her by the Joker, and now her mother, and, his father's been pretty horrifically damaged by the Joker as well. And, basically find out that, what exactly happened with the Joker, that, he basically consumed a much higher toxicity level of his own Joker serum, so that it would actually exude through his pores, because he's built up such an immunity to it after using it so often over the years. And so the mystery is, where is the Joker? How can I find him? What do I need to do to make him stop going after who he's going after? Because he may be coming after Babs next. But the Joker's somebody who loves to show his face. So why does he seem, as Babs is looking at security footage of him leaving the hotel where Barbara Sr. was attacked, why is he so hesitant to show his face? And eventually, there is a confrontation between Batman and the Joker. and it's horrifying how well Snyder writes the Joker. I mean, it harkens back to, because the three best representations that I've ever read of the Joker were Alan Moore in The Killing Joke, even though he considers that to be his worst work ever. I disagree. I think it's one of his best. The very distinct voice that Grant Morrison gave him in Arkham Asylum, Serious House on Serious Earth, and now Scott Snyder, really putting a very extraordinary mark on the Joker's insanity. And because of past issues, I think we kind of know where this is going. It wasn't the Joker that did this to Barbara. Jock also draws the hell out of this issue. Again, just it's so awesome. But the issue itself, Snyder, I mean, it's just I'm just flabbergasted. I mean, he's so goddamn good at Batman, and thank Christ that he is going to still be on this. Sadly, it is going to be absent the artistry of Jock or Francesco Francavilla, but when he hops on Batman at the relaunch, he's, I think we're all pretty confident that title is going to be the real standout of all the Batman related titles that are coming out. So again, it's a 10 out of 10 across the board. Some of these comics, like Cap and Bucky and Schism, these are 9 out of 10. These last, those last two, Secret Avengers and Detect 880 are 10s out of 10s, but this is 11 out of 10, and it is Criminal, The Last of the Innocent, #2. As I've said before, probably, if you're unfamiliar with the work of certain noir writers, my favorite noir writer is a man named Jim Thompson. Jim Thompson did The Grifters, After Dark, My Sweet, The Killer Inside Me, Savage Night, Hell of a Woman, This World and the Fireworks, the Nothing Man. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on and on. And almost all of his books are brilliant. And that is the universe that Criminal comes out of, but especially The Last of the Innocent. Because we have, we have our protagonist here, and he's, him and his, gotten, it's, damn it, it's, Riley, he, when we delve into his past, Sean Phillips, the artwork that he does, it shifts to like this Archie Comics type of art, but it's the type of art that you would never, it's the type of stuff that you would never see in Archie, that's for sure. And and he's got his friend Freak Out, who is a recovering addict, and basically all Riley is doing is he is furthering his plot to kill his to kill Felix, to kill his wife. And again, this is all stuff that it's done in all these different it flips back and forth between these styles of art, that's part of what makes it magical. It's done with a tongue-in-cheek. It's it's done with just some tremendous work, and Ed Brubaker. It's like I'm sorry. I mean, I'm looking at this while we're talking about it, and I can't stop reading it. It's just so fucking brilliant. Now, I wasn't too happy with the way that Incognito Bad Influences wrapped up, if you remember that from a while ago. I wasn't too pleased with the final issue of that. Hopefully he will do more Incognito stuff, because that's a really interesting character. But Criminal, as much as I love Brubaker's work on Cap, as much as I loved, his work on Daredevil, as much as I loved his work on with Matt Fraction on the Immortal Iron Fist, Criminal, Sleeper, Incognito, this is where Ed Brubaker really shines. And especially the stuff that he does with Sean Phillips, who has, who did Sleeper and all of Criminal and Incognito with. They make essentially the perfect writer-artist team. And I believe they also work together on Gotham Central, even though I'm in the midst of, I'm reading a lot of older stuff right now from creators that I like. Like I'm starting to, like I've been reading Birds of Prey after Gail Simone started her work on that title. Been going back and reading some Gotham Central. There's a lot of older comics, older runs on comics that I'm trying to get back into. Frank Miller's run on, his entire run on Daredevil. But it's hard to get through all that stuff. Even though it feels like I could kind of do it all in one sitting, but not really. So again, Criminal, The Last of the Innocent. It's a perfect comic book. It's perfect. I mean, there are so few things that I can say that about. It's perfect. This is well on its way to being best comic of the year. Just after 2 issues. This and Rocketeer Adventures and Snyder's run on Detective, American Vampire. I mean, a lot of the stuff that I've reviewed this week, they're all seem to be in contention for Book of the Year. We're more than halfway through now. And with the DC relaunch, I'm afraid that some of these things might kind of drop off as far as their consistency is concerned. Like Detective, that's a title that by the end of the year may still have this distinction solely by the merit of Snyder's work on it, and not by the merit of Tony Daniels going to be taking it over after the relaunch. But nothing's happening with Marvel, and nothing's happening with the Icon line, so thank fucking God for that, because I don't think I could, Fear Itself and Flashpoint, essentially, I'm interested, but I don't really care. But I care about this stuff. These issues, this work, these authors, these artists, they are forces to be reckoned with. And woe to some of the people who have comics the same week as some of these other guys have comics coming out. So anyway, so that is it for this week. Thank you for staying late and seeing all of these episodes. I know it's been a long time. Like it, dislike it, please comment, please subscribe if you haven't already. We'll continue more of my Batman film franchise discussion. But for now, the Shadow Gallery is out.